Welcome to your Tech News Today, where we keep you informed and empowered by giving you the latest tech stories that impact your daily life. It's Friday, March 22nd. I'm Mike James. Coming up in just a bit, find out about phone carriers' plan to put an end to robocallers. Then there's a hearing aid that's going high-tech to break language barriers. Plus, we'll tell you about how you can avoid some of the more common phishing scams. And a popular smartphone game from years past is making a big comeback through augmented reality. We'll get started in a moment. First, we'd like to recognize our partners who help make this Commando podcast possible. We start with robocalls and how there might just be hope on the horizon for the spoofed variety of robocall. AT&T and Comcast just announced a partnership that will be, in essence, verifying real numbers coming across your caller ID. Now, the two companies said that they just completed a successful cross-network test of a new authentication system earlier this month. They call it Anti-Robocalling Fraud Milestone. They're using a protocol called Shaken and another one called Stir. Now, both are acronyms for much longer names, but at least they decided to be clever about it. How it works is if you're getting a call from a real number, this new system would verify its digital certificate, then presumably let you know on screen that everything checks out. On the other hand, when a fake or spoofed number comes through, it'll fail Shake and Stir, and it will not be marked verified. Well, don't get too excited about this yet. It's a good start, but it's not going to solve all your robocall problems. First off, it's not here yet. However, Comcast said they do expect it to roll out sometime soon. Now, second, this will only authenticate calls made between these two networks, which is, again, AT&T and Comcast. And third, this won't necessarily crack down on the number of robocalls that you get. You'll just have a better idea if it's a call that you want to answer. This is said to be the first successful test of Shake and Stir, but the system has been in the works for quite a while. T-Mobile has already launched a limited version of the system on their network, and Sprint says they'll be testing it sometime in the second half of this year. Phone carriers should be motivated to get on board as soon as possible. The FCC has already threatened regulations on carriers that don't get Shake and Stir up and running by the end of the year. There's even a bill in Congress to make the adoption of the new system mandatory. Again, this won't crush robocalling, but at least you can rest assured you soon won't see the IRS or Publishers Clearinghouse pop up on your caller ID. You know how on Star Trek, back in the day, people could just have conversations with any alien race with no language barrier whatsoever? Well, the show writers had to figure out some way to get around that roadblock decades ago, so they made up convenient technology called Universal Translator. The thing is, it's not so made up anymore. Google's been working on it for a couple of years, taking a stab at it with their Pixel Buds in 2017. Then they debuted their kind of real-time interpreter feature, which rolled out to some devices using Google Assistant earlier this year. Well, now, another company's working on their own version, and they've built translation tech into a hearing aid. Starkey's Hearing Technologies is calling it the world's first AI-powered hearing aid. Now, it's called the Vio AI, and it connects with your smartphone, and the company says it can translate speech into 27 different languages in almost real time. Languages like Arabic and Japanese. The hearing aid listens for the foreign languages, then translates it to your smartphone screen. They added some other features also that almost makes it like wearing an Apple Watch on your ear. Built-in sensors monitor a person's heart rate along with what Starkey's calls, get this, brain tracking technology. That's supposed to detect when a person's about to fall. And if they do start to fall, they alert an emergency contact. Even relying on their location. They say it'll even help combat cognitive decline. And just like your light bulbs and microwaves, it's compatible with Alexa. Well, just don't expect to pay anywhere near the average price of a hearing aid for this. If you do want one, you'll need to shell out about $4,000. And with that kind of cash, you could buy a couple of hearing aids and a couple of Apple Watches, maybe an interpreter-enabled Google Home smart speaker. Or 2, or 5. Just ahead, scammers like to use the same subject lines in phishing emails. We'll tell you what to look out for. And Dyson has a bright idea with their new smart lamp. But right now, let me tell you about our partners at Robinhood. Robinhood is a very cool investing app, and it lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, cryptos, all commission-free. Plus, there's no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. You can view easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss an opportunity to invest. Robinhood is giving listeners of Tech News Today a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint. And they're going to help you build your portfolio. So you can sign up right now at money.robinhood.com. Just give it a try. Money.robinhood.com. We talk about phishing scams a lot, and they've been around for years. But the difference between then and now is the crooks are getting smarter. Not long ago, scam emails were pretty easy to spot with all the misspellings and bad grammar. Well, now the scammers have wised up using sophisticated tools to spoof messages and websites that can be hard to differentiate from the real thing. Cybercriminals don't just go after the average Joe. They also go after businesses for big paydays through their employees, like the Business Email Compromise Scam, or BEC for short. That one seeks out businesses that work with foreign suppliers and deal in wire transfers. Basically, a BEC scammer tries to trick employees into sending money, transfers, or handing out sensitive information by impersonating executive email accounts. Cybersecurity firm Barracuda looked at about 350,000 phishing emails used in the BEC attacks to find out which subject lines were the most commonly used and most successful. Well, sometimes it's the simplest things. The subject line of request was most commonly used by far at 36%. And in a distant second place, follow up with 14%. That study also showed that over 70% of those emails tried to convey a sense of urgency. So if you want to see the full list of commonly used phishing subject lines, just head over to commander.com, where we've also got tips on how you can protect yourself from falling victim to these kinds of scams. And I'll also give you a hint: don't click on links in any email that look fishy. Look for the signs that it's a phishing attempt, especially if it wants you to act now. Then definitely act now by deleting it and moving on. As you probably know, Dyson has revolutionized old household staples from vacuum cleaners to bladeless fans to even hairdryers. Well, this week, they announced some new products like a beefed-up vacuum and upgraded air purifier. But first, I want to shine the light on their new lamp. Get it? Never mind. Dyson just unveiled the Light Cycle, which comes in 2 varieties, a desk lamp or a floor lamp. And it's supposed to take care of your lighting needs for you, thanks to a built-in microprocessor. This allows the lamp to keep track of the sun's current position, and using that data, it'll adjust the lighting temperature, so based on ambient light or time. Now, the light will gradually grow brighter as the day goes on, then adjust to a warmer light in the evening. Of course, you can still control the light manually if you want to. There's touch-sensitive controls on the lamp itself, but you can also control it through a companion app, so you can fine-tune light levels, the color temperature, or mess with the default presets. It also has got a schedule lighting mode, so you can set wake and sleep times. It's like a few other lamps that are already on the market. So, for instance, if you want to wake up in the morning, it'll slowly get brighter. And if you're looking toward any potential burglars, it's also got an away mode that can make it look like someone's in the house, turning on and off the lamp at random intervals. It's not just the light that's cool about this. It's also got a built-in USB-C port so you can charge your Android and maybe iPhone one day. But I saved the best part for last. Dyson says this lamp will last up to 60 years. Just think about it. You can use the same lamp until around 2079. It's supposed to be available in April with pre-order starting now, but you might want to sit down for this next part. The desk lamp version will set you back $600. And the floor lamp, well, that's going to be $900. That's a lot of cash for the latest bright idea, but it'll last for decades, so who would have thought Dyson would make a family heirloom you could pass down to your kids? Right now, let's talk about some other smart tech that you might find quite frustrating. It's a smart cigarette lighter, or slider, as the startup out of Lebanon is called. And its goal is to help smokers kick the habit. The lighter, with artificial intelligence, tries to learn your routines over the first week or so. And the slider connects to your smartphone via Bluetooth, where an app keeps track of the number of smoke breaks to figure out your routine. Then it formulates a personalized plan to help you quit. There's actually a screen built in to the side of the lighter with a countdown clock for when you're allowed to smoke again. Think of the soup Nazi from Seinfeld. The lighter is kind of like that. If you try to light up when you're not supposed to, it's just going to say, "No cigarette for you." No, that's not true. But the flip side says it'll also schedule your smoke breaks as it tries to whittle them down, reminding you when it's time for a cigarette through a light on the screen, vibration, and sound. Knowing you might become frustrated and just go back to a dumb lighter or even a book of matches, the developers added a button so you can override the schedule. The slider is available for pre-order, but I'm sure you've figured out by now AI comes at a cost. In this case, it's $130. It's supposed to start shipping later this year. It's a lighter that judges you, but hey, if it helps you quit, I guess it's well worth it. Coming up, move over Pokemon Go. An old smartphone game is coming back with the help of AR. Right now, a quick thank you to our friends who help make these Commando podcasts possible. Okay, you remember Angry Birds, the mobile game that first hit smartphones about 10 years ago, and although it's never gone away, it is making a comeback with an all-new augmented reality version of the game. It's called Angry Birds AR. Isle of Pigs, and it's sort of like Pokemon Go, but instead of catching virtual animals, you're rescuing stolen eggs from green pigs. Just like the original, you have to do it by blowing up the pigs' hideouts. If you have an Android phone, the bad news, this is only being released for iOS devices at this time. You can pre-order it in the App Store before it makes its debut on April 11th. Just remember lessons you learned from playing Pokemon Go and try not to wander into traffic. By the way, once you're done listening to our tech news today, do us a favor and give us a good rating wherever you listen. That does help us out, and we thank you. Finally, for today's Commando Kicker, a study published about the hipster effect, which looked at how nonconformists usually act unconventionally in the same way inadvertently proved this theory. The writers later received an angry message from one man who claimed he was the man in the photo attached to the article and hadn't given his consent to be published. He threatened legal action, so the publishers contacted Getty Images, where the image was from, to make sure the model had given written consent to be photographed. Turns out the model in the picture didn't have the same name as the man, and they were two completely different people. After the misunderstanding was cleared, the man responded by apologizing and proving that hipsters look so much alike they can't even tell themselves apart from each other. For more fun and interesting facts, go to Commando.com and search for the Commando Kicker. And don't forget to check out some of the big stories over at Commando.com this weekend. Find out about the one app you should stop if your iPhone keeps dying. You might be surprised to find out what app this is, by the way. Plus, the tax deadline is April 15th. It's fast approaching. Check out Commando.com to find out about the top tech you can deduct off your taxes. And read all about the surprising announcements from Apple this week, including regular products that haven't been updated in years. And what you post on Facebook could impact your disability claims. We'll tell you how your status updates could come under much scrutiny. All those stories and much more, along with tips and, of course, how-tos at Commando.com, Komando. Check it out, have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time.